What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the LA Soccer Hub Show. My name is Gio Garcia, and what a special moment, MLS Cup playoffs. Man, it started off with a bang. I was at the LA Galaxy versus Nashville game. That was exciting. That was a thriller. First game there since 2016. It was electric. It had everything you wanted. It had crucial calls or questionable calls. I had an amazing goal by Joe Araujo, who gave the team the lead. Obviously, now they head into Western Conference Semifinals against LAFC, El Traffico. So you already know that's going to be bananas. It's going to have fireworks. And here to help me talk about all that, we got Teude and his own Michele. Michele, how you doing?
Hi, good and you, man. How are you?
Good, man. Good. I'm excited for these playoffs. I'm excited for the matchup we're going to see here Thursday. But what about you? How outside of the MLS Cup playoffs? Because I know you've been a busy man. Did you do anything else? Did you enjoy the weekend, or were you just working the whole time?
I had Sunday off, but Saturday was brutal. I had the broadcast, the Galaxy Nashville broadcast, but we had Cincinnati Red Bulls. So the way it works on the doubleheader, we had a 1 hour pregame show before Cincinnati Red Bulls. So I had to be on that. So I got to Dignity Health at 7 a.m. on Saturday. And we, of course, you got to take into account the Eastern time too. So our pregame show started at 8 a.m. So I was part of that. And then after the game, Cincinnati Red Bulls ended, there was another 1 hour pregame show for Galaxy Nashville that I was part of it. And then I was on the broadcast for the game. So I was basically from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. that we finished with Galaxy Nashville. So it was a busy day. Then I drove home to San Diego. I got home at like 6 p.m. dead. So on Sunday, I was just chilling, watching MLS, NFL. So yeah, and now starting today, it's everything is about El Tráfico. So it's gonna be busy. Vela Chicharito, and you know what that brings.
Yeah, that exciting rivalry. Look, we're definitely gonna get into that matchup because it's a very juicy matchup and it's a very both stars like you just mentioned and so many. What's at stake, right? An MLS Cup, right? Chicharito wants one, Vela wants one, LAFC fans want one, LA Galaxy want. There's six, so much to get into that. But let's talk about this game. Let's talk about this LA Galaxy versus Nashville game because we know both teams were a Galaxy with a fourth seed and Nashville was the fifth seed. You have Hani Mukhtar, who in a lot of people's eyes, he's the MVP. I know there's a couple other contenders there, but he's the MVP.
Yeah.
What did you think about Nashville's play? Because to me, I haven't watched Nashville maybe as much as you, or maybe as other Nashville reporters and stuff that were in the building, but I was a little surprised because it seemed like Galaxy, in my opinion, even though they had some sloppy passes at times, they kind of controlled the game for the most part. And then I didn't feel like Nashville really threatened them.
Yeah, and they controlled the two games that they played during the regular season, especially the one in LA at the beginning of the season. I think it was in May. Even though they won 1-0 with a goal from Joveljic, like in this 87th minute or something like that, Galaxy was far the better team. Then we hit to Nashville on September. I was there. I had the call for that game on the field. And even though Nashville scored and they almost win that game, that's the game where Chicharito misses the penalty after missing the Panenka the week before. And then Ricky Puig scores his PK on the 95th minute or whatever. Galaxy was the better team. If you see the numbers on that game, Nashville had 32 ball possession, 32% ball possession. And this is the problem with Nashville. And I was joking yesterday that I was really happy to see all these teams that like to play for the 0-0 and counterattack. They have no desire to dictate the game, like Nashville, like Orlando, like RSL, even though RSL was incredible against Austin. But they're normally teams that don't take initiative, don't like to have the ball. They just give the ball away and they sit down, counterattack. And I don't enjoy watching those teams. So I'm happy that we're starting to get rid of them early in the playoffs. And Galaxy did what they needed to do on talking with players before the game on both sides. It was very clear what was the how you were going to win the game. For Galaxy, was ball possession. We know that Vanney likes to play high ball possession, and especially now that you have the players to do it with Ricky Puig, with Brookman, with Marky Delgado having more freedom. And Nashville was just going to sit back and try to counterattack, trying to hurt Galaxy the way they knew that Galaxy flaw sometimes it's when they have defensive transition, they're not great. So especially with the fullbacks, Araujo and Edwards are not the best defenders in the league. The center backs are slow. They're Koulibaly and Cáceres are strong, they're physically imposing, but they're not fast, right? So Nashville was trying to win with Lovitz, and especially Shaq Moore, trying to get behind them. But when we saw the lineup, it was this is what Nashville does, right? That they came out with a 5-man back line, 3 center back. So okay, this is what they're gonna do. So Galaxy is gonna control the game. They're gonna have high ball possession, and Nashville is gonna sit back and try to keep those lines very tight. And that's what they did. And they tried to win, especially Shaq Moore behind Edwards. I think it was a couple of plays that he got into the final third and made some crosses, but nothing, like you say, nothing major. Honestly, the only clear chance that Nashville had was the Bond mistake that he gave it away, trying to play it out of the back. And that was just going to be the game day. How long did Nashville could hold on, right? And they did. Like the first half was awful. Galaxy was very sloppy. I think the Galaxy, and I asked Vanni at halftime what was going on, and he said that was a problem. They were sloppy. They weren't connecting. They were doing a bad job trying to break up those tight Nashville lines, and they were succumbing a little bit to Nashville pressure when Nashville decided to push a little bit with their fullbacks, and the game got better because Galaxy got better. Galaxy got better. They got better in the final third, and at the end, it was. I don't think there was ever a doubt that Galaxy had the game controlled. That Galaxy was the better team, and they should have closed the game way before. But Cabral did what Cabral does, and and he missed that chance at the end, and then Nashville almost in the last play of the game tied it up, but I really like what I'm seeing from the Galaxy. Puig and Brookman have been unbelievable, and now they're playing the way that Greg Vanni likes to play, which is high possession, playing from the back, which is what Puig does. Puig drops a lot to pick up the ball even behind Brookman and carry it over. And yeah, I mean, I think I'm very excited about El Tráfico because now this is the Galaxy that we're supposed to be seeing for a long time.
Yeah,
and they're coming in with they haven't lost in 5 weeks. They finished the season with their last 4 games were 3 wins and 1 tie, and now they beat Nashville, and they're in rhythm. And we know
really good rhythm.
So sadly, the game is sadly for them, the game is at Bank of California. This rivalry is very funny because the home team has always been very strong, right?
It's always had like the somewhat of the edge in the games.
So I know we're gonna talk in depth ahead, but I'm leaning. Don't give it to me just yet. Don't give it to me just yet. But
because we got so much to get into in this game. But I know where we're going. We'll finish off with that because there's so much that we could get into that. But let's close out this because you said so much right there. Because I'm with you. I feel like the Galaxy could close out this game a lot sooner. You had the Chicharito goal that was disallowed because some weak foul. I don't know what kind of foul that is. To me, it's MLS Cup playoffs. Like when it's playoff time, I just want a little bit more aggressive. Some calls, if they're not that, I don't know if they're not that. Let the boys play. Is what I'm trying to say. Just let the boys play. I like it aggressive. Everybody likes aggressive. Obviously, if it's dirty, obviously that's not going to fly. But let these guys push each other. Let these guys knock each other down in a soccer type of way. And for me, I felt the ref. Look, some of the calls were just too soft. They were just too soft for what's playoffs. Like I think he could have let a lot of the plays go. But it just happens. But I think moving forward, come playoff time, come out Traffico this Thursday, I don't want to see any soft calls. It's playoffs. Like, someone
Yeah.
bumps you, whatever. So if it's a dirty call it. But I just felt like some of the calls were very soft from what I saw, and I just feel they could have done a better job on that. Let's talk about the Julian Araujo goal, because that to me was an amazing goal. It had a lot to do with it. I just had it here. Let me pull this up, because right before that's when Chicharito scored his goal, and it was disallowed. But there was so much momentum that the Galaxy had, and I was just like, when is this goal gonna come? Or because it could have been one of those two things. If Galaxy didn't score, Nashville could have just got lucky and scored one. So here we'll see.
Along the byline, the cross to the back post. Araujo score! Julian Araujo, 1-0 Galaxy, pending VAR, of course.
Pending VAR, yes, sir. That's the story of soccer nowadays.
Yeah, pending VAR.
Pending VAR all the time.
And you see, man, the stadium, when that goal went in, the stadium just went bananas. It was insane how electric. And then I had to watch the replay, because Julian Araujo is obviously on the right back. He plays on the right side, and he lands and right down the left hand side of the goal, inside the box. And I was like, how did he get there? And I watched the whole play. He ended up passing and just getting there. But obviously, Joe Araujo, first goal of the season. It was a massive goal. Let's talk about this goal and just how the buildup, because Douglas Costa was very patient on this goal, and then he finally passes it to Grandsir. I really like this buildup play, because they took their time, and then they finally found the goal. And I think, to me, I'm seeing a maturity of the Galaxy that I didn't see in the beginning of the season. I think credit goes to Brugman, credit goes to Ricky Puig, obviously Greg Vanney, but this team is starting to see the game a lot slower, and they're controlling themselves a lot. So talk to me about this play and what you liked.
I like what you said, the awareness of Araujo, because Costa just switched from the left side to the right side, and the play just was there. And those are the moments where players that are aware of what they need to do and how to improvise, because this goal is an improvisation from Araujo. At no point I had Vanney close by, because when I'm doing the games, I'm right between the benches, and at no point Vanney gave an indication of where Araujo need to be done. He just saw the left pocket wide open, because that's the place where Douglas Costa or Raheem Edwards had to crash, right on the far post. And Costa, by a chance, I don't remember what happened before the play got there. Costa was there, so there was an overlapping of three players. So something had to give, right? And Araujo was completely aware of Grandsir is already open, so I need to find my pocket of space. Mm-hmm. So I'm just gonna go to the box and see what happens, right? And for a player that has shown this year, especially sometimes a little bit of that lack of awareness, especially defensively, because Araujo hasn't had like the greatest season defensively, and sometimes he's been also benched for some games after having some miscues on defense. So this is part of the steps and the growth mentally that we want to see from this player, right? We're talking about the home growth. We're talking about de la cantera, no? How do you say in Spanish? And I was talking to him after the game on one of the post-game interviews, and this was the best moment of his professional career, right?
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
So this is part of that growth that you want to see in players. That awareness, tactically awareness and improvisation. That okay, I'm not just gonna stand here and watch the play. I don't have anywhere to go. I'm just gonna try again to go find a pocket of space to make something happen. And this is what he did. This was all on him, all improvised by him, and it got the Galaxy the goal that now takes them to where they need to be, facing LAFC on Thursday. So I'm very happy for him. He's an incredible person. All the off the field things that he does for the community in Lamprock. He's a great kid, and he's had a rough year I mean, it looked like he was in line to go to the World Cup with Mexico. That's not going to happen now. So yeah, man, I'm very happy for him. He deserves it. And again, it's not just about deserving. It's just that you on this goal you see growth.
Yeah.
Right? You see growth.
I would agree with you. I want to say, I don't remember, but I want to say I think this was the free kick. I think this was prior when the free kick. I think Douglas Costa. I think that's why I think Rancer and Douglas Costa were on the right side. I want to say it because that's the only reason. I think the free kick and then the ball came back.
It hit the wall because there's Costa.
There's no way both
business.
of those guys are on the right side.
Yeah, Costa had no business being
no
there.
Business. Yeah.
So yeah, it's and that's good. And I'm happy also that Costa was involved. Because man, between Costa and Cabral, it's been so bad, bad. Especially with Costa. Today they released all the salaries, and he's making over $5 million. Yeah. So
I think they corrected. I want to get into that. I think they corrected as 4.5, but still, that's a lot for Douglas Costa for what he's given. But yeah, just to wrap this up, I'm with you. I think we saw a lot of maturity and just reading the game.
Yes,
you mentioned just reading the game. Okay, these two guys are here. Let me go in the pockets in the space and let me find that right. And this is look, if you're gonna go and win an MLS Cup, you have to have these moments. It's not always going to be Chicharito. Right. It's not always going to be Ricky Puig. You need your right back, locally grown, Joe Araujo to have a special moment. And and like you said, man, this is probably his biggest accomplishment, his biggest, accomplishment with the LA Galaxy, and it's a special one. And I would expect, for him to have another one, potentially this Thursday, another, whether an assist or someone like that, just to impact the game, because you're gonna have to have all these other guys do that. And I think what I also like too is, just like I said earlier, in the patience of this play, we're starting to see the maturity. We're starting to see them slow down the game for themselves, not rush too many things. Because earlier in this game, they were very sloppy with the ball. The passes weren't as smooth. At home, maybe it was just some nerves or whatever. But yeah, you're really starting to see. To me right now, the LA Galaxy is the hottest team in the MLS. From what I've seen, I'm gonna be an LA biased person because I watch just the LA teams, but just the growth that I've seen from the start of the season to now, it's insane. And they're riding in really, really high, going to Traffico. Let's talk about the stadium atmosphere. Dignity Health Sports Park, first game since 2016. It's been years. What is it? 6 years since they've had a home playoff game. Like I said, once that goal went in, it was insane. It was a party. How did you live it down there on the field this whole game?
It was great. I mean, Dignity Health. I think the fans have responded the whole season. Every time that I've done probably like 3-4 games this year at Galaxy, and it's always a great attendance. The stadium wasn't completely packed. I think it was like 85%. I remember Dignity Health, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the number is 26,600 something. So I will say there were 24,000 people.
They gave us the number, but I never remember.
But it wasn't sold out, but it was close to be sold out. And I really liked it. I mean, this fan base, it's starved for these moments. You just said it.
Yeah.
No first playoff game in 6 years. The last 5 years, the Galaxy made the playoffs just one time in 2019, and they got eliminated by LAFC. That incredible game, 5-3 in Bank of California. So when you go back, basically since 2016 that they had that game at home, there has been nothing to cheer about, right?
It's been tough. Yeah, it's definitely been tough.
It's been very
in
tough.
6 years, you haven't had a home playoff game. That's insane.
And I know the fan base doesn't like the front office. I know the fan base it's not happy, but especially since they got Brookman and Puig, and this team started playing the way it's playing, and you could see already, okay, now we're seeing the Galaxy that we're supposed to be seeing, right? And I think the fan base finally got what they deserve, which is to live one moment, because they've been there. The last, The last few years that the team has not qualified for the playoffs, they're still going to the games, and it's a really nice atmosphere. Plenty of families, kids, of course. Since Chicharito got here, the Mexican fan base woke up. First was with Gio, then with Jonah, but they don't have that gravitas. No, they're not Chicharito.
Yeah, it's a superstar. Yeah.
So I'm very happy and I'm very excited to hopefully see that this front office learn from their mistakes, right? And seeing that you don't have to be splashy. You don't have to go after the big names like they went with Douglas Costa. They went with Brugman, for example. Nobody knew what Brugman was. I mean, he was playing in Spain. He's been like going in and out of teams. His original team is Parma in Italy, that is in the second division. So you just gotta be smart. And this team has been doing a very bad job with scouting, with the academy for a few years now, right? We can talk about all the talent that has escaped that academy. Alex Mendez, Uli Yanes, and
there's been an endless. Let's just put it that way. There's been an endless.
And you have this city of LA just with the Mexican, with the Mexican families and all this space that you can utilize and scout, and this team, this front office needs to do better, and hopefully they can take this moment, what happened on Saturday, and move forward, and because the Galaxy needs to be up there. Galaxy needs to be fighting the supporter shields with LAFC, right?
I'm with you on there. They just have too big a brand to not be able to do this. And I'm with you. Look, I've talked about this endlessly. People, look, the Galaxy front office has not done a good job. But look, kudos to them on winning in this game. Now we go Thursday. All right, let's preview LAFC versus LA Galaxy, the Western Conference Semifinals. This is the biggest game in both of these teams' rivalry because of what's at stake. I mean, I don't feel like these two teams, even though LAFC has more of the star power, the way LA Galaxy is riding so hot right now, I don't feel like I feel like they're just about the same level, or just one has an edge over the other. And these games, regardless of talent, regardless of who's hot or whatever, it never comes down to that. They're derby games. It's a playoff game, right? So no one can ever predict these games, but there's so much at stake. Chicharito wants an MLS Cup. Carlos Vela wants an MLS Cup. He was supposed to get one in 2019. Didn't happen. Let's quickly run down between these two teams, and I'll get to you. LAFC this year won the Supporters Shield. They signed Chiellini, Gareth Bale, Denise Bouanga, Christian Teo. Outside of those, has been great signings, except Gareth Bale. He's been a super sub. He's been very disappointing. I don't think anybody expected him to be a super sub. And on the other hand, LA Galaxy signed Ricky Puig, who's I think he's changed a lot. He's completely changed his LA Galaxy team. You just talked about Gaston Brugman. He's made this team amazing. Also, Marky Delgado. They added Martin Caceres. Two teams. One team made a lot more signings, got a lot more superstars, which is LAFC. They already got one of the trophies that they're going after, the Supporters Shield, but the main one, the big one, is MLS Cup. Let's talk about these two teams. Let's start with LAFC. What are your thoughts on LAFC? Let's start with the Supporters Shield, and then we'll get into the players.
I think what I don't like about LAFC right now is that I feel that Cherondolo already found his starting 11 a couple of weeks ago, right? Especially they tested and tried so many things in the front three, trying to fit Vela with Gareth Bale, and we've talked about that here. That doesn't work. You cannot play Vela with Gareth Bale, but Gareth Bale is not gonna start a playoff game. He's not gonna start on Thursday. We're gonna see the front three that we've seen the last games, which is Bouanga, Arango, and Vela. But again, what I don't like about this LAFC right now is that I don't feel that Cherondolo had enough time to make this starting 11 play the way he wants and give this starting 11 the reps they need, right? So I feel that they're going to be behind a little bit in rhythm and in cohesion, like the way the Galaxy is going right now. Because I feel that he just basically found out he's starting front three, but I don't feel still. I feel that he still doesn't know which is the best center back pairing. He's been flipping a lot between Segura,
Chiellini, Segura,
Chiellini, and Murillo, and every game there's been a change, right? So and it's not Cherondolo's fault. This team was flying until all these changes started, right? They brought in Bale, they brought in Chiellini, they shipped Brian Rodriguez, they brought Buanga, they brought Tello. Too late. So, having said all of that, as a team, I like the Galaxy more than LAFC right now. Not in quality, as a team, as a cohesive unit, and what the coach wants the team to do. I think Galaxy are flying under Vanni right now, or at least they're playing the way the coach wants. But having said all of that, I think the balance, the scale balances with LAFC being the home team.
Yep.
Because in this rivalry, I think playing at home has shown that it's huge.
Weighs
right?
a lot. Weighs a lot.
If this game would have been on Dignity Health, it's done.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
It's Galaxy.
It's a wrap. Yeah.
Put all your money in Galaxy.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a chance.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say that I'm leaning very, 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 very little towards LAFC just for the fact that they're playing at home. But dude, if Galaxy wins, I won't be shocked.
Yeah. You know what's so crazy about it? I feel this exact same way because I'm with you. Galaxy is flying. They're so hot right now. And it's just like they got all the momentum and everything. And I'm with you with LAFC. I just feel like it does, like, even though they have everybody, it doesn't feel as a complete team as it should be. Even though they have all these stars and everything, it just doesn't feel as complete. And you're right. Look, maybe Shondell has not had enough time with the new pieces to be like, hey, and look, even their last game against Nashville, they weren't even able to close it out or even get a tie with all the pieces that they have. And I'm with you. I think these rivalries had shown that the home team usually is favored, and that's where I'm leaning as well with LAFC. But it's not by a lot. It is not by them much. It's by a hair that LAFC has this. And I think the biggest difference is going to be them being at home. And I've seen the important games with LAFC has to get a result or has to win. Carlos Vela has shown to be that guy. And the question to me is, right, you made all these different signings, right? I don't think Carlos Vela is playing 90 plus minutes, in my opinion, in this game. I don't see Carlos Vela coming out. I just don't see it. I don't see him coming out of this game. So you're taking either Chicho Arango or you're taking Denise Boanga, whichever one of those two doesn't have a good game or struggles, let's put it that way. Then you bring in Gareth Bale or Apoku Mahala, who I feel like a Mahala has played better than Gareth Bale. I'm not saying he's better. He's just played. Yeah. He's just played better. He's had better rhythm. But you definitely got to throw in Gareth Bale in there, right? And I think to me, it's like when you look at LAFC, it would be a catastrophe if they lose. It would be a massive. It would be like the biggest loss. Like I'm a Dodgers fan. The Dodgers, they just built this whole team, right? I don't want to get too into that. It'd be like the almost exact same example. You brought on these big name stars, and the MLS Cup is the trophy. It is a trophy, and who's biting right now is the LA Galaxy. Because look, there's pressure on both clubs, but I think there's a little bit more pressure on LAFC because they have more to lose. Sure. They have so much more to lose because Galaxy in the beginning of the year, like no one expected them. Now, right? If the Galaxy lose, all right, you're supposed to lose because it's LAFC. They got all these big name stars. But if you win, it's like I said, both teams have pressure, but it's a little bit more pressure on Cherundolo. It's a little bit more pressure on those players. And look, you got Chicharito on the other side. You got Ricky Puig. This is the first time Ricky Puig is going to face LAFC. So I'm very interested because the way I see these two teams pairing up, because both play 4-3-3 formation, which is interesting. Both play formation, but I think where Galaxy have the edge is in the midfield, in my opinion. If we go toe to toe, you could say, you could give LAFC the front three, you could give LAFC the back line, right? But I think the difference maker is going to be that midfield. And it's going to be exciting to see that battle of the midfield. Because I don't know, how do you see this game finishing? You think it's going to be a close one, or do we see it go all the way to like PKs or something?
I think it finished on 90 minutes, and I think it's going to be a goal fest. I could see a 3-2, 4-3 type of game, and definitely on the midfield. The thing with LAFC is, like you said, it's all the pressure is on them. All the pressure. They're playing at home. They won the supporter shields, right? Mm-hmm. And they put a target on their backs when they brought Bale and Chiellini. That's a fact. Like that's, and especially they become type of a villain. Like everyone was hating on them. And I think, like you said, that the game is gonna be won in the midfield. Mm-hmm. Who can dictate the game, right? Because we have that battle with Ilie, Cifuentes, and Acosta against Brugman, Markey, and Puig, right? Mm-hmm. So the game, I believe, is going to be played kind of similar to the way the first half of Nashville Galaxy, in the sense of Galaxy is going to try to impose the game. Maybe not impose, but having the ball, because that's the way they like to play. And the LAFC it's not a super high possession team. LAFC is a team that they will destroy you on offensive transition and counterattack. Mm-hmm. And they have the players, unlike Nashville, right? Nashville, it's Mukhtar or bust. With LAFC, you have Cifuentes, you have Vela, you have Bouanga, you have Chicho, no? You have the players to allow Galaxy to have the ball and play counterattack, sit back a little bit, and just take advantage of their slow defense and their fullbacks, especially using Vela and Bouanga on the wings. So that's but to do that, you need to win the ball at midfield, right? You need, because Galaxy is gonna try to keep the ball with Puig, with Markey, especially Puig, high possession. He wants the ball all the time. So if you can take Puig out, and I think you have the players to do it. With I think that this game is gonna go through Kelly Acosta following Puig.
Someone's gonna have to stop you. Someone's gonna have to like touch him up a couple of times.
You're gonna have to man mark Puig on this team. Mm-hmm. Ilie is not fast enough to do that. Yeah. Cifuentes doesn't have the defensive capabilities of doing that. And Vela, we know he's not going to run around following someone. So I feel that especially the duel that I want to see, and I think the duel that is going to define this game, is Acosta against Puig. If Puig can do whatever the hell he wants with the ball, I think it's Galaxy. But if LAFC with Acosta and their defensive shape can take the ball away from him and counterattack, and because they have the players to do it and to make and to create chaos and to punish you, that's what I think the LAFC is going to win the game.
Yeah, I feel like I think Kellen Acosta is a great player, but what I've seen from Puig, I think you can only contain him, and I think Kellen Acosta is one of the great players to do that. I just feel like Ricky Puig is just that talented. Yeah, I'm with you on the counterattacks, but one of the things where I've seen the Galaxy struggle a little bit more this season has been the play out the back, and I know LAFC has not pressed like they have like when they used to with Bob Bradley, but I feel like this would be a perfect game to press up because, like you said, they have the speed. And Galaxy, like Jonathan Bond struggles to play off the back, out the back.
Well, that's what you have to do. You gotta press.
I would say you would press more than you typically do.
Exactly, you press
that
you
would
don't
put
allow
so much more pressure on them.
Yeah,
you don't allow Puig to get the ball.
Right, you high press, and you don't allow for Puig to receive the ball and turn. That's what you need to do, because Puig is receive, turn, and go. Right.
Yeah.
So you don't allow that. So basically, by doing that, you don't allow Galaxy to have ball possession, and that's how you beat Galaxy. It's not. It's obviously it's easier said than done.
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you.
But I think that's Galaxy. That's where they struggle, and they struggle with that.
What's so crazy is like I like Jonathan Bond as a keeper and stuff, but the thing that I can't get across my head is how sometimes when he plays out the back, sometimes the balls just go out of bounds when he passes them. And I'm like,
he's a good shot stopper, but nothing more. I think Galaxy needs to be on the market for a goalkeeper soon.
Really? I would just say, get him on a 2-touch thing clinic, because
I think it's been underwhelming this season. Like his first season was
amazing.
Yeah, and then even his shot stopping ability has dropped this season. And if you don't have that you need to have with Greg Vanney, like being able to play out of the back with your feet, I think they need to upgrade at keeper.
That's an interesting point. Look, the way I could see this game. I hate PKs, but I could see this game going to PKs, and then one or two things will happen. Either the Galaxy will overcome their fear is their biggest Achilles heel. They will overcome it, and then you could have Chicharito with the 5th penalty and be heroic, or they completely just miss them, be like RSL, like they were just against Austin FC, and get shut out. Like it's one or two things. But I could very, very likely see this game going to PKs or 90 minutes. Let's finish off with this, because I know I've got a couple minutes with you. Let's talk about I'm gonna quickly bring these numbers up. MLS players salary guide. So we're looking right now. So we're looking at this is the LA Galaxy. I think let me pull up another stat. Let me switch over. Let me switch over to this tab, because we saw, and then we'll go to that because of how many teams, how much they spend real quick. So this, I think Taylor Tolman tweeted this out. So we'll see. Toronto FC has by far spent the most, $32.2 million. It's insane. They're not even in the playoffs. LA Galaxy spent $23.3 million. And then we'll look at LAFC, $19 million. So you got LA Galaxy number 2, and number 2 team that spent the most. And then you got LAFC 3, 4, 5, the 5th team that spent the most, right? Now we talked a little bit about this. We talked about how much spending, and we talk about Douglas Costa, and it's just, that's not good. But like some of Chicharito, you could definitely say he made a case for himself. 7.4. Douglas Costa, I don't think Douglas Costa is 4.5 for what he's produced. Maybe he could have a magical moment in these playoffs. We'll see. I think Puig, Cabral, definitely not. Brugman, definitely. When you look at this, what are your thoughts?
That there's an imbalance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you see with Chicharito, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's 18 goals, DP. That's what you pay. It's fine. No problems at all. And then you have Douglas Costa, right, at that price point, and Ricky Puig making almost 3 times less, and he did more in 10 games than Douglas Costa did the whole season, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you jump to a second one, and you have Gaston Brugman that literally changed the whole team. Because I feel, I was saying that Brugman has been the most valuable player. I know it because without Brugman, without that number 6, that single pivot that takes care of every mess, because Puig doesn't defend. He's one of the worst defensive midfielder in the league, right? Without Brugman, there's not a Ricky Puig that can work on this team. Mm-hmm. And you have that against making a little bit less than Cabral, that has been an absolute disaster. Cabral has been the worst DP this year and the worst DP that I can remember lately, last few years on MLS. So you have these high positives of Brugman, Puig making decent, I mean, I don't. They've been worth every cent. They're underpaid.
Exactly.
And then you have this massive negative that just overturns this positive, right? With Costa and Cabral. So what you need to do next year is just try to balance it out, right? Try to be more Brookman and Puig and less Costa Cabral in the sense of how do you build a team, right?
Yeah.
So I'm definitely seeing my expectation. This is not a reporting. I have no information. I fully expect, in my opinion, that Douglas Costa is going to be gone, and you can take
you kind of
that
have
salary,
to if you're gonna
right,
bring Ricky Puig as a DP,
and you can, or you can leave Puig as a time player for another year, but you need the Costa slot to make this team better.
Yeah.
And get another midfield, another winger. Like they need to get another winger because we know Vanney's gonna stay with his 4-3-3.
Yeah, he's saying he's definitely comfortable with that.
And they tried to get Paul Arriola in December when Arriola was still on DC United. So they need to bring a big time winger, not a big time name.
Yeah,
a big time.
I would say one that could play 90 minutes.
Exactly. Go and find a winger, go scout and bring someone like you did with Brookman. Out of nowhere, and he's become the most valuable player for them, and he changed everything. So this is what we're talking before. Right? What do we want to see? Taking this as a base for next year, get rid of Douglas Costa, and start bringing more Brookmans, more Puig, and Chicharito. Well, you're always going to have a Chicharito in your team, and he deserves what was getting paid. Because
I don't think that people kind of complain about that, but I'm like, Chicharito does so much more than just score goals.
Bro.
He's
the
a
way
brand.
he moves off the ball,
he's
so good. He's so good.
He does so much. Let's quickly LAFC. Obviously, we've seen the LAFC salary. Obviously, Vela is making just under $3 million right there, 2.7. Gareth Bell, 2.3, which is insane as a 10 player. Dennis Boanga, $2 million. I haven't even looked at the rules or whatever. I don't know how much the TAM, GAM, whatever BS, So this is more of a creative roster, and this is what LA Galaxy should have been doing because of the names and everything they could bring. But like LAFC is what you're talking about, what Galaxy should do, right? LAFC
Look at Arango.
is doing. Arango way paid. This could potentially be his last season if he wants to get paid. But
and we don't even see Cifuentes there.
No, so Fuentes is also another player. Let's talk about this because look, I'm with you on that, but it's also, I guess we have to give credit to the front office of how smart they've done and how they strategic they've been about the names and everything. It's not easy to do. Look, to me, the front office has done everything good. We'll see how these late signings affect the team because there is team chemistry or whatever. If they don't win the MLS Cup, then we could talk about and definitely get deep into that. But as of right now, the LAFC front office, LAFC club, with these signings, it's the best team, the best build out, the best roster signings you could do. Now, the chemistry thing is another thing. Give me your thoughts on this.
It's the best front office job that we've seen in years. When you see this, that no player is above $3 million, you see, for example, Toronto. Between Bernardeschi and Insigne, there are $20 million between the two. $20 million. Like, just
not even in the playoffs.
Those two are more than the whole salary from LAFC as a team. That's absurd. So what they did this is what you said. I mean, it's taking advantage of the rules, right? And try to squeeze in the players the way you can. Like they brought Tello, Tello is not worth a DP slot, right? But they didn't have more time money available. So what they did is, you know what? We're going to bite the bullet. We're going to sign Tello as a DP, taking Brian Rodriguez's spot, and then next year we'll buy him down. We're going to make Bell a DP if he stays. So those are the creative things that they've done, and they've shown the league that you don't need to be a rich, super rich team. You don't need to have a super rich owner. You just have to have a competent front office that knows the rules, because MLS transfer rules and all this money thing is very complicated, but they can be bent and they can be manipulated on a good side to make this happen, right? So I think this has been the best front office job, salary wise and club wise, in the whole league, and it's very impressive. It's very impressive. Now, next year things are gonna get complicated.
It's gonna be very, very
because
complicated.
Cifuentes, if he stays, you gotta pay him. Arango, if he stays, you gotta pay him.
Yeah, Cifuentes is only making 411,000.
Right.
Chicho Arango is going to make 683,000.
Right.
If you look at what they've contributed to this team,
Right.
they're gonna need a bag. They're definitely gonna want the bag.
Bale, if he stays, this is not the salary that Bale's gonna command next year.
Not at all.
So he's gonna take the DP spot and he's gonna be paid a bunch of money.
Yeah.
So Kelly Acosta, he's always looking to get a new contract. Oh, I don't know if he's in the last year of his contract, if he has another one, but he's made clear that he wants to go to Europe too. So they're gonna have to take a lot of decisions. So what they have right now here is great and it's amazing, but they better win this year.
Yeah,
because this is it. And they went all out, bringing Bale, bringing Chiellini, bringing Tello, Buanga. They're all out because they know, and I know they know, that this is not going to look like this next year.
Not at all. It's gonna be a little bit. It's gonna be more complicated.
Yes, so
it's very, very more complicated.
And that's part of the pressure that we're talking about, right? They need to win MLS Cup this year.
Yeah.
Period. Full stop.
Without a doubt. Yeah, and that's why for me, that's why I'm leaning a little bit more that way, is because of everything you said and the way they kind of built this team out. But yeah, we'll see, because I still think, to me, like Gareth Bale needs to have a special moment in these MLS Cup playoffs. He needs to have. I'm not saying he needs to have a bicycle kick like he did in the Champions League, but he needs to have a moment like that to justify. And I still think they're going to bring him back regardless. But I think, to me and to the fans or whatever, there needs to be a special moment to justify. You could be like, all right, whatever in the regular season, but if he shows up in this big of a game, he shows up in El Traffico, you can overlook any of that stuff because it'll just justify it.
Yeah, nobody remembers what you did in the regular season if you balled in.
Not at all. Not at all. People remember the big games and the big moments.
Yeah.
Michele, my brother, I appreciate you for hopping on. I know you're a very busy man. Are you going to be there this Thursday?
I plan to, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll see you this Thursday. I appreciate you for being on. I appreciate you for definitely hopping on. A lot of the fans, a lot of the listeners really enjoy having you on. So, hey, man, you're definitely a fan favorite on the LA Soccer Hub. So,
thank you, man.
For Michele, guys, this is Gio.
It.
Catch you guys next time.
Anytime.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that yeah, I don't know if I can make the game yet. I think I have to travel to Mexico.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm trying. I really want to be there. Those are the games that nobody wants to miss, right? So hopefully I get to see you guys there and the fans or whoever is there. And if not, one of these teams is gonna move on. And
one of these teams.
We're gonna have another. Probably if LAFC comes, we're gonna have another game in LA, and we'll see for sure. Yeah, we're gonna see each other for sure, and all the people that
definitely.
Michele.
For Michele, this is